Hey, I am H.M. Radcliffe, the creator of the show The Madness of Chartrulean. Before we jump into Volume 2, I just wanted to pull you aside and talk to you directly for a moment. I have been working on the show since 2020 when I just wasn't feeling great about the state of the world and I didn't have a lot of hope. The past few years have drastically changed the shape of this project, and it became clear that we don't need a story about just another tech bro messiah right now. At least not one that we don't care about immensely. The world is more in need of stories that remind us of our humanity, and so I decided to slow it down and really get inside these characters and their relationships. I made the show that I wanted to hear, with characters that I care about, and in a way they're part of me. So I hope they live as rent-free in your minds as they do in mine. Now, if you prefer an ad-free listening experience without interruptions like, well, this one, or if you just want to go deeper with director commentary, early listens, behind-the-scenes looks, that is all on our Patreon. I even made interactive story guides that fill you in on the lore in real time as you listen. And if you're enjoying the show at any time, a rating or review goes a long way. I can hardly express how excited I am to show off these performers, this original score by Sean Renner. Everything from top to bottom has been a labor of love with so much sheer human talent going on behind the scenes. Fasten your headphones, let's go.
Welcome to Volume 2 of The Madness of Chartrulean. For the best listening experience, we recommend headphones. The story is most easily followed when listening in a quiet, distraction-free environment. The show deals with themes of mental health and identity disturbances that may not be suitable for all audiences. See our show notes for a list of content warnings. Now, sit back, relax, and immerse yourself in the madness of Chartrulean.
Awakened, my love. I feel your frustration. I hear your excitement. The collective consciousness vibrates with uncertainty. The Starmakers fight for control in a bid to undo the folly of their creations. A new path is being forged in the cosmic causeway. A new cut to Jar's perfect cloth. I hear a name. The name of one they fear. Through him they fear us. They fear you, my love. And that brings me joy.
I will keep you alive to feel the pain. Then I shall take even that from you.
Why do you torment me with these memories? I remember my final moments burned into memory like the very flames that consumed my legacy. Together, we had built many wonderful things, my love. And under a red sky, she took it all away. The more she wrought from my flesh, the more I was filled with your agency. The sky darkened above, and I watched the moons fall into perfect alignment with the sun. This would be the end of my reign, and the beginning of my epoch, and it was beautiful. I could feel the movement of the earth beneath me, and how it danced with the cosmos above. My love for you commanding the searing heat flooded my consciousness, and the earth wretched with my sorrow and your anger. The river of fire was churning, and the infernal machines on which I built Zoroastra, my city, would follow my command and awaken the wrath of the Unmaker. She would not take all that was mine, so long as my wrath was immortalized in rock. She would finally hear me scream. Her voice erupted from the earth in an infernal scream.
Rivers of fire consumed the land, and Zoroastra was reclaimed by the molten rock from whence it was rooted. The landscape would be forever changed.
History does not speak my name kindly. What was my name? Oh yes, Rankusha, Maiden of Chaos and Nation, Queen.
You may enter.
Are you all right, sir?
Have I given you reason for concern?
It's just... You've been writing all this time?
I have. Is that all you've come to say?
Can I get you anything?
You can give me peace.
Sir.
Times of great calamity often give birth to the greatest minds, just as the brightest thunderbolt is elicited from the darkest storm. In the case of the storm that plagued Simitu's lower city, the saying proved literal. But in order to understand this part of the story, we must first understand where it truly begins. 1,000 years after the passing of the abomination queen Rankusha, and on the cusp of a new epoch, during which dual totality would shake the very core of Arcus. An epoch that would be named Chartrulean. It happened at the foot of the mural Ebtu Wulf Dobraki, deep in the archives of Idrica Seminary. Artedemis steadied his breath as he absorbed the enormity of the fresco, its imagery warped by the shadow of imminent confrontation, twisting all it had once symbolized into something heavy and uncertain. Ebtu Wulf Dobraki, he knew, was the gateway to a secret. And a boy, barely a man, was about to use that secret to set the world on a dangerous path once more. At last, a dull clunk echoed through the chamber, and the door shuddered open.
Why do you tarry here, old man? You've found the path of abomination. And so I've come to congratulate you.
You've been watching me.
It was inevitable that you would find this place. Every Atruvian has at one time or another, myself included.
So then others have seen what I've seen.
Only one has ever been tempted by what lies beyond.
You speak of Rankusha.
It is a tragedy what happened to her. Do you agree?
You saw what's down there yourself and chose to do nothing.
The choice is made by the world around us. It is not truly ours to make.
Then Yoba was right. It is a lie.
Would that disappoint you?
Everything leads here. That cannot be without reason.
What did you see down there that you believe others overlooked?
A future worth living.
For the sake of the few who will survive the long war?
Wrong. For the many.
You know very well what the grand design is preparing us for.
How can I accept any of it? Knowing that there is another way.
Another way, yes. But what would it cost?
You speak as if we have anything to lose.
Then you have made up your mind.
My choice is to survive.
It will be difficult for one so young.
For years, I have spent countless hours in the seminary, turned every page, solved every riddle. I have both past and future perspectives.
There are things you must understand about the world from a place of experience, about people that cannot be gleaned from dead histories.
Dead histories.
Ancient secrets are not mere tools to end wars.
You ran.
Would you so willingly repeat Rankusha's failures?
Rankusha did not face the threat of incursion.
I encourage you to focus instead on the path that heals our transgressions.
Such a path does not exist. You had the chance to make that path, and you did nothing.
You abominable fool of a child! You will fail! And you will fall. And the higher your station, the farther the fall. No matter what power you ascertain, fear is the greater power. Whatever we say, people will hear what they want to hear and shape their truths from lies. And this is why you will fail.
You are wrong.
Often, the right choice can feel like the wrong choice, but the Star Makers wouldn't lead us astray.
They do not care if we live or die.
So why should we? Like it or not, we are participants in their great experiment. We must abide and make the most of our lives, learning what we can and adding our wealth of knowledge to the collective consciousness. That is our only true purpose, just to live.
Will you try to stop me, Artedemis?
No.
Then you waste your breath. I will prove you wrong.
Through pain and sacrifice, the boy grew into a man, wielding formidable power and allies. The age of azurea had begun, and Arcus was on a path free of subjugation at the hands of the Rao and free of famine incurred by the greed of our own species. Yet victory had exacted a heavy toll. The gates of perception had forever closed to him, and with the death of his idealized self, the Superman, came the birth of a new man, a man untouched by temptations of wealth, love, or political ambition, but driven by an insatiable thirst that threatened to disrupt an already fragile balance. This is the madness of Chartrulean. Episode 1, A Valuable Asset.
I don't think they tried to hurt us on purpose.
We might have more influence over our ships than we thought.
They're scared of the Berserker, just like we are.
Astreus is property.
These people don't move against us.
These ships.
They move
all of
beneath us.
Property.
The altercation between shipbuilder and protege had thrown the skies above Astreus into turmoil.
Someday, I'm gonna bring you to your knees.
Just stop
Look
fighting!
at what you are doing!
The resulting storm now plagued Simitu, showing no sign of relenting. But a greater problem had begun to manifest. The very nature of the azurea was changing.
We are the ones in control. We are gods!
Initializing clearing procedures in 3 and 6.
Mutations now detected in reactors 4 and 8.
How much longer?
We're standing by. It's your call.
Sir, in all honesty, I think they can take it.
Flare every reactor showing anomalies. We take no chances.
With respect, sir.
It won't be like last time.
I said, burn everything.
We're still well within the threshold.
Out of the way, Mothra.
Chartrulean, Admiral Lapadine wants to see you in his office.
What could possibly be so important?
He says that we have some orders from House Starbringer.
Tell him that I am done taking orders from House Starbringer.
But it sounds like there's an emergency.
We have been purchased. Owned.
Ah!
9 stone pylons encircled the Astreus compound like sentinels, reaching high above the retaining wall that divided the facility from the lattice of Simitu's lower city. From 3 of them erupted columns of blue energy roaring skyward. Each release rocked the very bedrock, sending shockwaves up the tether that bound Astreus Labs to the spaceport above. The elevator, forged to withstand every known disaster, hummed, deep and discordant, reverberating throughout the rain-soaked capital city. No one sensed the potential fallout of these events more keenly than Admiral Lapadine, who observed from his office. His custodian had been plucked from its usual hiding place just behind his ear and rested on the corner of his desk. It offered a relentless broadcast of disasters in real time, each notification an attack on his nerves that he parried with a sip of his most bitter wine.
Flaring procedures for reactors 2, 3, and 4 are now in effect.
6 and 8, coming up.
Airspace has been cleared. Ready to proceed.
There's a lot of money going up in flames right now.
Kill the chatter.
Admiral, we have an incoming transmission from the Hikara. Do you want to see it?
Show me.
Okay.
What the? Borsha, establish a direct link with General Tsukin.
One moment.
Admiral Lapadine.
Tell me what I'm looking at.
Well, it's a developing situation, sir, but we're detecting a sudden high concentration of gases and other volatile organic compounds around the Rao colony ship Zisithris. We suspect it to be the byproduct of smelting.
That would be a surprise, considering the Rao are supposed to be low on resources.
We can't speak to the scale or nature of the project, but it appears to be considerable.
Can you get any closer?
That's the main reason I escalated this, sir. Recon was hesitant to make a closer approach while negotiations were in progress.
Keep your eye on it, and report everything.
Permission to speak freely, sir?
Yes.
In all honesty, the men and women out here are feeling like we could use some guidance from someone who actually has eyes on the ground. And it would help morale if we knew the go-ahead to move in came directly from you. They're anxious to go home, sir.
Agreed and understood.
Borsha, hail a transport to the capital. To depart immediately.
Sure. I'll have one ready for you.
It's not for me.
What is this?
I hear you are done taking orders.
I cannot be expected to walk away from a catastrophe of this scale.
Pardon my concern, but I'm receiving reports that the elevator is humming. Personnel are being evacuated from the spaceport for safety. A storm originating from here has caused city-wide power outages and flooding across several districts. Havelion has been ordered by you into quarantine. And yet, you see it as a low priority to report to me directly?
I am reporting to you. What I am referring to is any form of unnecessary distraction.
Unnecessary distraction?
We are in chaos. I am not the personal property of House Starbringer to be summoned at will.
So I am to tell the king that you are indisposed.
Look outside.
And I agree with you.
And I am needed elsewhere.
However, we would not be summoned to the capital if it was not genuinely urgent. Now, sit down.
I cannot be idle.
Sit! Drink.
I need my faculties.
You need to relax. Let the staff handle this. They are more than capable.
It was my order to flare the reactors. My staff may have made a fatal error, had I not.
There was a time not long ago when you would have taken risks. The precedent you've set with them is a dangerous one.
I would rather not recount the casualties of my arrogance. No.
Shall I have Borsha bring you some tea instead?
No.
I'd like to hear your reaction to something.
The Zisithras.
It is. Anything out of the ordinary?
Those emissions are consistent with manufacturing.
It may be too early to suggest that these activities are anything but benign. But people will be asking questions. In particular, they will want to know what happens if the Rao are preparing another offensive, right under our noses. The Nine and their paladins must be ready to fight again.
At present,
what can be done?
We will have the Nine.
And Ditrin? And Homina?
There will be 9.
You've promised a frigate. Can it be expedited?
There are questions about the Berserker that still need answering before we can commit to a timeline.
How about you have a full report on my desk before you leave for Idrica, detailing what we can move into production?
We've rushed our timeline before. I will not make that mistake again.
I'm not asking you to rush. I'm asking you to move. Look, I understand the situation, but this is non-negotiable.
It will be done.
Why don't we consider finding you some help to offload the busy work?
I would only work with someone I know.
I expected pushback.
I am tired, and there are other areas I'd rather focus. Loris is our best option.
Loris? I thought you dismissed him personally.
He dismissed himself.
That is beside the point. I recall the two of you did not get along. Will there be issues?
We are amicable enough.
He'll ask for compromises.
I will make it work.
Then I will make him an offer. Back on the topic of House Starbringer. It seems the Starbringer princess has taken ill. She's been requesting your presence. Not Astreus's. Yours, specifically.
Absolutely not.
You do not care?
This reaches beyond irrationality into madness.
King Starbringer has put all other obligations on hold until he can ensure the safety and well-being of his daughter. The accusation is that you encouraged her to take dangerous actions.
I encouraged nothing.
Look, I don't care about the substance of your relationship with the princess. Whatever the situation is, I just want it fixed. The king must not be distracted from his diplomatic obligations with the Rao, and our relationship must maintain good standing. For that reason, I plan to honor the request.
Must it be right now?
I will respond to House Starbringer on your behalf and inform them that you are coming. You can take my transport and offer him this.
My priority is here.
Your priority is helping me help you, and by extension, Astreus. Now go, and come up with a damn good plan for next steps. And Chartrulean, play this well.
Where did your faith in me go, Admiral?
Your transport is waiting.
Chartrulean slipped into the city's tumult from the safety of Admiral Lapadine's transport.
Travel under top so I may see the damage.
The transport ascended onto an elevated highway, merging into a procession of vehicles suspended from rails. The opaque black floor faded to transparency, offering a clear view of the tangle of narrow streets below. The lowest districts were flooded. Residents waded through knee-deep water, retrieving personal belongings swept away by the currents, or pulling neighbors towards safer ground. He was surprised to find the usual food carts and buskers were out in Back Alley Market. Rain or shine, a feasting day was still a feasting day.
Interesting.
Crossing from Jardejo law into the common law districts was like stepping into another dimension. Here, the opulence of wealth was unmistakable, the gilded capital gates looming in the distance. Chartrulean observed that these streets were barely touched by the floods, yet their residents appeared disproportionately disturbed. Gone was the spirit of camaraderie he'd witnessed below. Here were only pale, frowning faces, hiding beneath wide-brimmed hats, cautious and detached.
Shameless.
At last, the transport passed through the gates of the Capitol building and came to a stop near a modest, unadorned doorway. As the doors opened, he was greeted by an entourage of Capitol guardsmen.
I am Captain Aldibad of the Capitol Guard.
Will this not draw unnecessary attention?
You are a valuable asset to His Highness.
A valuable asset.
This way.
Captain Aldibad and his entourage led Chartrulean up a concealed staircase and along a walkway encircling the commons below.
Don't worry about being seen. There are ways around the building that help some of our higher-profile residents move around.
The strange procession ended in a quiet wing of the Capitol, where two men in elite armor stood flanking a towering set of doors.
We'll wait here and escort you back to your transport when you're ready.
And who will protect me from them?
Let's put it this way. They give me a lot of job security, but you should be fine.
On the far side of a long chamber hung a banner emblazoned with the Starbringer crest. Beneath it, King Starbringer paced the length of a large table carved from solid stone. Yoba hovered anxiously over the shoulder of Dr. Tomlin, who carefully tended to a gash on Cethalia's arm.
Please! Can't you do anything to shut her up?
The separation anxiety is only going to worsen the longer you keep them apart.
Well, she's not going anywhere until she's told us something useful.
Please, just let me go.
Here he is.
The Admiral sends a gift of wine.
Wine? The city is under water, my daughter is sick, and the Admiral sends a gift of wine.
Was this a miscalculation?
I picked a hell of a time to stop drinking. Give me that.
You're a rather expensive errand boy.
You have questions?
That I do. What has been the nature of your private dealings with my daughter?
With your daughter?
Yes, you may have met once or twice.
I only meant there might be more urgent matters that we might first discuss.
More urgent? What could be more urgent?
Have you considered that we are overreacting?
No, I have not. As much as drama is a hallmark of this family, I find this situation objectively disturbing.
What is the issue?
We don't entirely know. Sophrosyne went for an errand and returned in a state of elevated distress. Dr. Tomlin was able to restore her senses, but she won't speak to anyone.
Correction. She will speak to you, Chartrulean. Not her father. You.
These tantrums are not helping.
Forgive me. I'd hoped watching my children gain their independence would be the slow and painful death of me, not a 1-2 punch to the gut.
Do it myself. I can't.
Where is Sophrosyne now?
Please.
She's resting.
See her.
Please, grant us all rest. What choice do you leave me, Cythelia?
But
she tells us nothing.
Buell, she's a guardian.
Yes. It's against your conditioning. We've already heard that from you many times. It's a bloody waste of a human being to remove their judgment.
You would appreciate that quality much more if these questions were being put to her by some malefactor.
I'm her father.
All right. We're all finished.
Please, just let me go.
Fine. Go. Tell her he's here. Maybe we'll finally get some damn answers.
How did Cythelia come by her injury?
Your guess is as good as mine. Sophrosyne's sworn her to secrecy, so she'd sooner fall on a sword than say anything.
It's nothing too severe. But she does have a few days of discomfort ahead. I trust all will be resolved expediently.
I applaud your optimism.
I'll check back after they've both had some time to rest.
Thank you, Dr. Tomlin. You shouldn't do that to her.
Well, she should do her job.
She's her guardian, not her conscience.
Are you trying to blame my parenting? Again?
She does come by it honestly.
You won't get far with that. She gets this one from her mother. Here, get this out of my sight before I drink it. Whatever. Give me that. You're a chamberlain, not a conscience.
Some days I fail to see a difference.
I won't argue with that. You, over there. Are you going to drink with me, or sulk?
I should keep this brief.
Of course you should. Your pet rain cloud is out there wreaking havoc on my city.
What's going on over there?
Every day at Astreus comes with new challenges. Today's are not fully understood.
Yes, I get that risk is part and parcel with innovation, but should I be worried for the safety of our citizens?
There is no scenario where their safety would not be greatly jeopardized.
You are gambling with a lot of lives, shipbuilder.
The greater loss would be the casualties of war.
Let me be clear. This is where you assure me this is not some kind of new normal.
I cannot make assurances in good faith without some basis of fact. For that, it is too soon to say. But our hopes are aligned.
I should hope so. Now, we've talked about you. Let's talk about my daughter.
I expect that I will have the opportunity to exonerate myself of any accusations.
Accusations? Who said anything about accusations?
I only meant...
Wait, what is this? Look, we're going to be seeing a lot of one another, and I don't need this thing where your eyes follow some invisible insect across the floor every time we speak. Such behaviors might insinuate you might be hiding something.
This is not a constructive use of anyone's time.
Shut up. He is not off the hook here. I want you to look at me and tell me why. Why you, the most powerful man in Arcus, cannot look a king in the eye.
Because your sincerity, in spite of your circumstance, defies what I understand of men in power.
Men in power? Like yourself? Chartrulean, I need you to see me as an equal. When you and I are in a room together, that is what we have to be. Equals, allies, friends, please. Can we be any of those things?
I do not look you in the eye to shield my contempt for your naivety, childish demeanor, and untempered idealism. I can tolerate these qualities in your offspring, but I find it difficult with you. Though I hold genuine regard for you despite our differences.
Spoken like the truest of friends.
There are other affairs that need our attention, and I have less patience left than there is light in the day.
Chartrulean, if it is exoneration you seek, then give me a straight answer. What have been your dealings with my daughter?
She sought my insight on a matter of heritage.
You mean the brooch? It belonged to her mother. What else could she possibly need to know?
It has been returned to her. I assumed that would be the end of it.
I see. Well, then it sounds like I owe you an apology for letting her get too familiar. She should know better.
No apologies necessary. Her presence at Astreus is welcome.
Among the tasks she was given, I'm curious, did any of them concern Bethema Labs?
Astreus does not associate with Bethema.
So you have no idea what she might have been looking for in places she wasn't supposed to go?
It is rare for me to voice my opinion, but when it comes to Bethema, I do not hold back. She would have gone fully aware of my disdain for that place.
Bethema is an invaluable institution to Arcus. It's only inevitable that our house would need to associate with them in some way. But there are things hiding there that Sophrosyne is not ready to see. I'm afraid the nature of her errand was not diplomatic, as she had led me to believe. I'm afraid it was personal, and I demand to know why.
Perhaps we can arrive at a reason another way. Assume, for a moment, no one is to blame but herself. Was there anything else out of the ordinary about her behavior when you saw her last? Anything at all?
She had expressed concern over the contents of a letter.
A letter? From whom?
Her mother.
Did she show you this letter?
She did.
And what was your response?
That I am reluctant to involve myself in personal matters. In so many words.
Anything else?
She believes it may be connected to a recurring nightmare. I cautioned her against making this kind of association.
A nightmare?
You were not aware of this?
No, this is out of my purview. Why wouldn't she come to me with something like this?
I would like to offer my honest assessment of the situation.
Fine.
Perhaps you will find more answers by examining your own interactions. I should leave.
I'll see you out.
Not so fast. Assume my goal is not to allay guilt. The fact remains that I am not the one she wants to talk to. As a father, I cannot let you go without asking more of you.
I must protest. My presence will only exacerbate the situation.
It'd at least be something. Please. Please. Go.
In there.
You have my permission. Thank you, Chartrulean. Truly.
You are welcome.
The sensibility of Sophrosyne's private suite was alien to Chartrulean. The world he'd created for himself was concrete and stone. Bare walls, heavy curtains drawn tight against the light. Her world was bright, clean, and welcoming. Elegant but never opulent, and each object that occupied it seemed to have a purpose.
Nothing beyond necessity. I am an invader bringing darkness into her world. I do not belong here.
A gentle flutter drew Chartrulean's gaze to the tabletop. There lay the brooch, beside a worn leather book and a stylish bandolier. Something delicate and silver, glinting subtly beneath one of the bag's flaps. Further along the table, Hona's letter rested atop an open diary, next to an untouched plate of fruit and bread.
The letter.
An errant breeze rushed in through an open window and pushed the letter aside, revealing a sketch of an eye. Chartrulean traced the hastily drawn lines with his fingertip, feeling the deep grooves and small tears left by the tip of a pen under too much pressure. His finger stopped on an imperfect circle where ink had pooled, puckering the paper. It felt damp. Lifting his fingertip to his tongue, he tasted salt.
Tears.
A wave of unease rendered his senses.
The artist didn't do this with a practiced hand. This image was retched from memory.
Just because you're here doesn't mean you can go through my stuff.
I did not know you were skilled in the arts.
I wouldn't call it skill. You just tend to pick up on things when you sit around because people assume you're too incompetent to do anything else.
Have I embarrassed you?
No, just this whole thing is embarrassing.
Oh, here, let me get it.
You promised me you'd stay in the other room and rest.
But I'm not tired.
Then will you go make some tea?
Oh, I can have it sent from the kitchens.
But it's always better when you make it.
Okay, what kind of tea?
I don't care.
Nothing for me.
It's not for you. Whatever Tomlin gave me for this headache isn't working.
Okay, so just 1 cup of tea then.
Please, and a tonic.
Okay, be right back.
That'll take her a minute so we can actually talk. She's being more clingy than usual.
It is her job.
It is, but still. If I'm telling the truth, I didn't think you'd actually show up like this.
The surprise is mutual.
Can you sit down?
I'd rather not.
Please. I'll make it 1 minute, or whatever.
1.
You can be so insensitive.
I did not come here to be sensitive.
Then why are you here?
There is a powerful chain of command between us, Princess.
Oh, so they made you come.
There is little either of us do by choice.
So you don't actually care.
I did not say that.
So you do care.
I have care for you. What I lack is concern. Astreus is my concern, and I have left it in a state of practical catastrophe to come here.
Did you make the power go out?
Tell me why I am here, Sophrosyne. I will give you more than 1 minute, but this cannot become habit.
How many minutes?
I will only count the ones that you waste.
Then I guess I'd better not waste any.
Please.
Have you ever felt someone else's pain?
Why do you ask?
Something happened today. And I've never been crushed by such, I don't know, feelings. But they weren't my feelings. I'm sorry.
I have no wherewithal for tears.
I know, neither do I. You might have to deal with a little bit of this, okay? I don't fully know what's happening.
It would be easier to start at the beginning and not the end.
I know. I'm sorry, it's just...
Sophrosyne, no apologies, just begin.
Okay. Last night, I was thinking about what you said to me.
What did I say to you?
The part where I have to find answers for myself. So I thought I'd try.
I did not mean that you should put yourself in danger.
No, I know. It wasn't supposed to be anything like that. I found a lead, and I thought I could go see if I was crazy.
A lead?
Dad gave me this yesterday. It's Mom's old ledger. Look. She wrote about red tanks at Bethema. Red tanks were in my dream. Any chance you know what that means?
I have a reasonable hypothesis.
Okay, see, all this could have been circumvented if you'd let me tell you about my dream.
This is not how you get a response from me.
Fine. What's your hypothesis?
What else do you know to be red?
It means there's a problem.
Oh.
I take it you did not find what you were looking for.
But I did find something. Red tanks were just one of the things in my dream. Can I show you this page? It's relevant.
You may.
This is what I found. I drew this years ago, after the first time I had this dream. I've just called her Terrible Eyes this whole time, but I'm guessing you already know about this one too. Still want to hear about it?
This is not for my benefit, Sophrosyne. It is for yours. But I am listening.
So we had just finished a tour of the campus. There hadn't been much to see, but things just felt really off.
Please stay here. I will return shortly.
Something is massively wrong with this place. Everything's a little too shiny.
I know, I think so too. Come on, we might not have much time before she comes back.
Okay, what are you looking for exactly?
Red tanks and a woman with terrible eyes.
I cannot believe we're doing this.
We went into a wedge-shaped building that looked older than everything else. It turns out most of the building was underground, and we could only see that little part of it from the courtyard. The door opened into a steep passage that felt like it just dropped off into nowhere. And we were surrounded by these weird yellow lights that only lit up when you were next to them, like right as you were passing them, so we couldn't even really see where we were going. And the passage just, it could have gone on forever for all we knew. And it got more cold and damp the further down we went. Like we were walking into a cave or a tomb or something.
I think we should turn back.
No. I need to see where this goes. I hate to imagine any child having to come down here. Eventually, we could make out a faint white glow at the end. When we got there, it opened up into a large chamber and leveled out. The light was coming from what seemed like hundreds of tanks. They were just like the ones in the main facility, except there was a network of old pipes connecting them to some kind of large central structure that was full of tubes and probes and other things.
You can skip the imagery. I am not interested in what I may already know, only what happened.
Fine, whatever. I could barely make out what was inside of the thing, so of course that's where we went first.
What are those things?
They look like sarcophagi.
Yeah. Maybe it is a tomb.
Look, they have nameplates. Niven, Dua, and Etrurial. It's not a tomb. This is the vault.
What happens in the vault?
We're about to find out. Look. Whoa. The children in these tanks are older. A lot older.
What's wrong with them? They look sick or something.
I don't know, but this isn't right.
No, it is so weird.
Some of them are deformed even. Why would they do this?
Shh, shh, Watchman!
It's a sentinel. What would one be doing down here?
Could be looking for us.
I don't think it knows we're here. Sathalia, look.
Shh.
On the far wall of the vault, I saw a painting of a woman wearing a blue gown. This painting, the one I just showed you a sketch of. But that's not what was weird. Terrible eyes. In place of eyes were black asymmetrical holes, surrounded by blue flames, rimmed with silver.
Rankusha.
What?
Rankusha. The portrait is of the Etruvian queen, Rankusha, the maiden of chaos. It is one of 3.
I knew you'd know what this is. There are 3?
A triptych. The others are Ebtuwulf, Dubraki, and Erigone. They are heavily imprinted with ghosts of Arcus's past.
Why would they put something like that down there? Clearly it leaves an impression on the kids.
For some, it is more than an impression.
You mean there are actual ghosts?
Rankusha's phantom is a well-documented phenomenon.
Hang on. You don't believe in dream visions, but you believe in ghosts.
That is not what I said.
Yes, you did. You said dreams are unreliable garbage.
Most.
Ugh, you can be so pedantic. You're just gonna make me feel like an idiot no matter what I say.
You should learn to listen more critically.
That is so condescending. You know what? I am wasting your time. Just go.
Sophrosyne, I will tell you when you are wasting my time.
You're serious? You actually want to hear this?
It would be a waste to get this far and not hear the end.
Point taken. So, I wanted to get closer to the painting because something looked weird about the eyes.
I think they stick out from the rest of the painting.
I want to get closer.
What? No. We need to be getting closer to the door.
Not until I have answers. The painting was on a giant slab of plaster, at least twice my height, and recessed in the stone. Up close, I could see Cythelia was right. The eyes weren't part of the painting at all. They were more like ornaments or something. Can you help me reach?
How?
Lift me up on your shoulders.
What?
You're stronger than me.
I know, but the sentinel is way over there.
Come on, before it comes back this way.
Fine. Ready?
Do you have a knife?
Duh.
Let me borrow it.
What are you gonna do?
Improvise.
Ow. Careful.
Sorry. Just...
Ow, it's my hair.
It almost looks like this whole panel can move. Hey, look what happens when I put my weight on it.
Ow. Shh. Okay, just hurry up before the watchman hears.
Okay, hold still.
I am. Frosty. What are you doing?
Taking them.
What?
You took the eyes.
Okay, come on. You have to get down.
Okay, but look, I got one.
Great. Hide.
You have to swear you won't mention any of this to anyone.
Anyone? Really? Are you serious?
Anyone. Not even Dad. Swear.
Okay, just... Shh. Can we go now?
I have to get the other one. Help me back up.
No, just let me do it, okay? Give me the knife. Quick. Yeah.
Wow, I should have just let you do the first one.
Yeah, well, you didn't ask. Now, can we just get out of here? Please.
Someone's coming.
Just get down.
Where is Prior Magagoso?
Indisposed. Has the power been restored?
We're running on reserves. We can safely do so for a while, but hopefully whatever caused the outages resolves soon.
The problem is Astreus. Chartrulean is making a mockery of my city.
That's Aldibad.
Well, who is the woman?
She must be the headmistress.
How many are there?
57 sons and daughters of Niven and 18 Etrurial.
How are we on the quota?
Oh, he's already been fulfilled. None of these children are parented.
Do any show promise?
Etrurial 5037 is showing some signs, but nothing remotely close to Etrurial 4012. He was just off the charts in every way, which is a high bar to hold.
Are they talking about Chartrulean?
I think so.
How far along is Etrurial 5037?
93 days, but we've already seen some deterioration.
What of the Honut trials? Any success?
The results have been too erratic so far. We're not ready to proceed.
They're talking about Mom.
Keep trying. The Starbringers must be good for something yet.
Perhaps when Magagoso returns.
From now on, you will report directly to me.
Oh, surely your grace has more important things to do.
Do not think I'm unaware of you and Magagoso's arrangement. I know where the children go. I don't know who is paying you or why, but your part in these transactions will stop.
No one is paying, my lord.
Someone's paying the smugglers, and I'm going to find out who it is.
Don't you think it's better to give these children life?
You call that life? Subjecting them to poverty and destitution in the streets of Idrika? That is no life. Only an even slower death.
We are giving them a fighting chance.
What you've done is given our enemies an army. Do you know what I've had to go through to keep this wildfire from igniting?
They're children, my lord. What could they possibly do?
Plenty. Now, what to do with you? Banishment doesn't seem to be enough, seeing as people seem to keep finding their way back into my city. Perhaps we should consider something more severe.
Than being forcefully complicit in the murder of innocents? I shudder to think.
Perhaps it's time for a change in the hierarchy. Sister Eustace, perhaps. She is, after all, the one who alerted me to your disloyalty.
Eustace would destroy this place.
So I'm hearing that you wish to stay in your position. Then, prove your loyalty. Get rid of the failures. Or I'll let Eustace do much more than that.
These things take time, and the right kinds of preparations.
How much time do you need?
Several days at least, possibly weeks.
I will have more watchmen sent to make sure you comply.
But the children are afraid of them.
Let them be afraid. A preview of their lives to come. And if you think someone will be knocking on your door to take them where they cannot be harmed, you are wrong. No help is coming.
House Starbringer will not stand back and let this happen.
You dare speak that name? What power does a dead king have over me?
You wouldn't.
Don't assume what I will or will not do. Just do your job and make me an Etruvian.
She isn't leaving.
She will. Just wait.
No, you don't. That was fun.
That was property damage.
Oh, right, says the thief.
Who's there?
Oh, you're bleeding.
Whatever. What matters right now is us leaving.
Who's over there? Show yourself.
Go!
Wait, where's the other eye?
Shoot, I must have dropped it.
I need to go back for it.
What?
I got it. I got it. And that's when it happened. Sorry. This part is just it's not clear.
Sophrosyne, tell me what happened.
It was like I could feel the suffering of lots of people, as if the world itself was ending. And when I looked up again, I saw the woman from the painting standing over me. She was saying something.
What did she say?
I see you, sister. Princess Sophrosyne. We must get her out. Follow me.
The headmistress was there, I think. Maybe she got us out of there. But I must have blacked out. All I remember after that was looking into a great big eye. And then I woke up.
An eye?
Yeah. My dream played out as if I was seeing it for the first time. Up close and in even clearer detail. And I saw other things.
What other things?
New things. People and places I didn't recognize. You want to know the worst part? I think the reason I didn't find any red tanks was because it hadn't happened yet. But if your hypothesis is true, then I think something terrible is about to happen.
This eye. Can you describe it?
Its pupil was like a mirror. But at the same time, the entire cosmos was inside. And I could hear it calling my name. I don't know if I can explain it any better than that. What are you doing?
Is this what you saw?
Why are you angry?
Because either you are a liar or I am a fool.
A liar? You think I would lie about any of this?
What are you?
What do you mean, what am I? Wait, please don't leave me by myself.
Where have you been, Chartrulean? They've been looking for you.
It's not the time.
But it's important.
Just leave me alone.
He's back.
Did you tell him it's an emergency?
I tried, but he's headed toward the vacuum chamber and is in no mood.
What is happening? Why is this happening to me? This is a lie. Must be some mistake. Must be some mistake. Why is she talking? Leave me alone. Leave she a part of me that's missing. Is this happening to me? Who's there?
Chartrulean.
Show yourself. Zartika.
Chartrulean.
Zartika.
It is time to meet the Unmaker.
The Unmaker? I am losing my mind.
He's over here.
Am I allowed no peace?
We need you to come see this. Something's happened in Reactor 9.
Show me.
Since the first incident, we'd made significant improvements to the reactors and wanted to do a bit of a pressure test.
We thought we could contain the mutations just to see what happened, and, well...
Get to your point.
See for yourself.
The core is barely maintaining.
We're right at the threshold, but she's holding strong.
What have you done?
What have we done? We figured out what caused the Berserker.
The Madness of Chartrulean was written, directed, and produced by H.M. Radcliffe, with production support from Rae Witte. Sound design by H.M. Radcliffe, with engineering assistance from Edward Calvi. Original music composed by Sean Renner, and featuring live string performances by the Invoke String Quartet, starring Aud Andrews as Chartrulean, Kathleen Klein as Sophrosyne, Adam Neal as Yoba, Magnus Carlson as King Starbringer, Christian Collado as Havelion, Nina Nicolik as Borsha, Angela La Rocca Hockman as Cythalia, Reginald West as Admiral Lapadine, Elizabeth Plant as Rankusha, Adrian Galley as Maldro, Boyd Barrett as Artedemis, Kennedy Phillips as Dr. Tomlin, Heath Martin as Captain Aldibad, Stacy Lightman as the Headmistress, Rae Witte as Dr. Cullaway, William Nunn as Dr. Emmay, A.J. Fidalgo as General Tsukin, Al Foote III as the narrator, and featuring the voices of Maxine Maine as Nicola and Josh Portillo as Quay. To learn more about the Madness of Chartrulean and all the ways you can support the cast and crew, visit tmocpod.com.
Before you go, let me tell you about another woman-led sci-fi show by a creator who identifies as neurodivergent. It's called Beneath the Cosmic Waves, and they just wrapped their fantastic first season. Here's a little taste of the show.
Hey, it's Sloan. I moved into my new apartment tonight. The vibes are definitely weird.
Luna Mater Mare. Run.
But don't worry, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Stop it! Let me go! Put me down!
As you wish.
Anyway, I love you. Okay, good night.
Beneath the Cosmic Waves, Season 1 now streaming everywhere.